Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of land on which we meet, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, emerging leaders, and any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that might be gathered with us today. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General. And as this badge represents with its cross quills, I'm also the Secretary of the Order of Australia, the council which recommends appointments and awards in the Order's General Division to the Governor-General, who is the Chancellor and Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for bravery awards. Before we start today's ceremony, I'd like to acknowledge that despite the challenges posed by the current pandemic, we are delighted to be able to host this ceremony in a COVID-safe manner. We are very grateful for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure everyone's safety. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their friends, families, and their communities. It is a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. The Australian Honours System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation are able to recognise ordinary Australians doing extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, over 420,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service. And it's important to note that nominations come from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. As staff at Government House, my colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that achievement. I hope that we can make today an occasion that you all recall with pride for some time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand as Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley enter the room and then remain standing for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin and proceed in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter the room from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested, we'll proceed through the central aisle to take up their seats at the rear of the room. At this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause as the recipients proceed up the centre aisle to take up their seat. At the conclusion of the ceremony, I'll invite recipients to join with Her Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. And after those photographs have been taken, Your Excellencies and the recipients look forward to joining all of you out on the lakeside terrace where refreshments will be served. So, ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Mrs Hurley, and remain standing for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth of toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state and part of Australia fair. In joyful strains let us sing, and part Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Good afternoon all, and a very warm welcome to Government House Yarralumla from Linda and I and the staff at Government House. A beautiful spring afternoon on a very special occasion for both the House here. Indeed, this is the highlight of our year when we conduct these ceremonies, but of course for our recipients who are sitting nervously behind you. And we'd also, of course, acknowledge all the family and friends, those here with us physically and those watching, for their support of each of the recipients over many years. Government House, Yarralumla, sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people, and I do thank them for their care for this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation, and pay respects to elders past and present. As I mentioned, this is the highlight of the calendar year for us here at Government House, when we acknowledge the contribution that our recipients have made to our country. It's an occasion where there's a degree of pomp and protocol, but as there should be, given the nature of the occasion. But I remind you, and I think Paul has also reminded you, that this is an Australian Government House, so please relax. You are allowed to smile. Please applaud at the appropriate time, and then we look forward later on to getting to know you better. Our Honours and Awards system, the Australian Honours and Awards system, was introduced in 1975 to replace the Imperial Honours and Awards system. One of the most important characteristics of our Honours and Awards system is that the nominations for those in the General Division, or the Civilian Division, come from people's peers. They come from community members. So the strength in the system is who nominates, who understands what's happening in their community, and who puts those people forward to be recognised. I want you to bear that in mind as we conduct the ceremony, because I'm going to give you some homework to do when I conclude the ceremony later on. Australia has had a very difficult year, as we all know, this year. Prior to that, when Linda and I were in Government House Sydney, New South Wales, Queensland, parts of southern Australia were in deep drought, very distressful. We've had major floods in North Queensland and now on the south coast. Of course, we had our horrific bushfire season that we're just in the early recovery of, and now we have a pandemic. They are big issues for a country and its people to face. Over the last three and a half months, and Linda and I, our travel has been quite constrained. We have used every virtual meeting app known to man to communicate with the people of Australia, right from mayors to members of parliament, to leaders of communities, to school children across the board. And after every one of those conversations, we come away uplifted by the strength of character, the resolve, the goodness of your fellow citizens. I'm an optimist by nature, but what I see every day around Australia convinces me that we will get through these challenges, and we will get through them well. And while we're doing that, we'll be looking after each other. And today, we are going to see a microcosm of that goodness of Australia in this ceremony. And there'll be a time, certainly is a time for us all to celebrate these men and women. Now, on that note, please note your homework will be coming. I'll now commence the formal ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as a member in the General Division, Mr. Peter Everly, for significant service to the care and welfare of veterans and their families. Mr. Everly has been devoted to the care and welfare of veterans, particularly in the Australian Capital Territory, for over 25 years. His volunteer work with the Returned and Services League of Australia has taken various forms, from providing coalface services to veterans and their families in need of assistance with Department of Veterans Affairs claims, through to counselling and mentoring support. He's also held various positions with the RSL, including as State President and National Director of the RSL Board. In this regard, he was particularly effective in leading the organisation, as well as continuing to work with veterans. Additionally, he's provided dedicated service to Legacy, the Defence Force Welfare Association, the TPI Association, and the HMAS Perth Association. Mr. Everly is an exemplar of volunteerism and inspires us to give back to those who have contributed so much to our community. Mr. Peter Everly, appointed a member of the Order.
Okay. First one always tries to escape.
To be presented with the insignia of her appointment as a member in the Military Division, Group Captain Jane Wheaton, for exceptional service in workforce development for the Australian Defence Force. Group Captain Wheaton has made numerous advances in workforce development in several challenging roles. During her career, she has been posted at Fairburn, Williamtown and Canberra, and saw active service on operations High Road, Ochra Zone A and B, Manitow and Accordion. As the Workforce Manager of the Air Combat Transition Office, she drove the design and planning of the workforce to introduce and sustain the F-35A Lightning II and the introduction of the EA-18G Growler into service. She was also vital in the planning of the drawdown of the classic FA-18 Hornet workforce. Additionally, Group Captain Wheaton's analysis and support of the workforce aspects of the First Principles Review and the Integrated Investment Program of $195 million have been exemplary. Group Captain Jane Wheaton appointed a member of the Order. To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr. Bernard Bessevi, for service to the community of the Eurobodalla. Mr. Bessevi is a quiet achiever who has provided community with his knowledge, skills and organisational abilities for many years. He has unstintingly committed his time to ensuring that those less fortunate are given every assistance and opportunity to improve their lives. He has diligently supported a range of charitable, church and sporting organisations in the Eurobodalla Shire. He was instrumental in the project management and construction of a purpose-built facility for the Muddy Puddles organisation, which provides service to children with a disability and their families. Mr. Bessevi's efforts and achievements are most deserving of our thanks and recognition. Mr. Bernard Bessevi awarded the Medal of the Order.
Congratulations. Thank you for the enormous big heart you have for the people you're all they show us, which is better. Thank you very much.
To be presented with the insignia of her award of the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Nancy Mcgregor, for service to the community of Young. Mrs. Mcgregor has been contributing to the life and wellbeing of citizens of Young for over 50 years. She has a strong interest in the promotion of a healthy lifestyle and has selflessly served the Young and District Hospital Auxiliary and the local Health Advisory Committee of the South Slopes Area Health Council. She was instrumental in raising significant funds for the fit-out of the new hospital in Young and is an active patron of the hospital's auxiliary. Her service to a range of other community organisations has been extensive and equally impressive. Mrs. Mcgregor is an inspirational role model and we honour her today. Mrs. Nancy Mcgregor awarded the Medal of the Order.
People like you, ladies like you, who just give us such a great heart for our country. Really put so much into it. And we really listen to them. So thank you very much. Just put that in.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Medal of the Order in the Military Division, Warrant Officer Benjamin Wright, for meritorious service in personnel recognition administration, major public relations initiatives and organisational development in the Royal Australian Air Force. Warrant Officer Wright demonstrated superior creativity as the executive producer of the Air Force television show Afterburn which became the most successful video on the Air Force's YouTube channel. He also initiated the project Paper Pilots to teach children about the magic of flight and the science behind aviation as a pillar of the Air Force's community engagement strategy. Additionally, he provided outstanding service on posting to No. 19 Squadron in Butterworth, Malaysia, as a Communication Information Systems Specialist. Warrant Officer Wright has displayed exemplary dedication throughout his 22 years of service to our Air Force. Warrant Officer Benjamin Wright awarded the Medal of the Order.
Your story, actually. Thank you.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Conspicuous Service Cross, Colonel Mark Welburn, for outstanding achievement as the Chief of Staff, Headquarters 2nd Division. Colonel Welburn's devotion to duty has been most evident in his coordination and implementation of the 2nd Division Transformation Plan. He synchronised multiple working groups, conferences and planning activities to deliver improved outcomes for the 2nd Division capability output. He also led the development of new plans in support of 2nd Division's domestic security responsibilities under Plan Magpie. Colonel Welburn's efforts to deliver the best possible outcomes demonstrate his dedication to the achievement of Army's total force. Colonel Mark Welburn awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Conspicuous Service Cross, Corporal Tobias ONeill, for outstanding achievement in cyber warfare at No. 462 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force. Corporal ONeill played a leading role as a member of the Australian Cyber Security Centre team tasked to investigate the compromise of an Australian government network in 2018 and 2019. His technical expertise was key to the team uncovering the significance of the attack, and the scale of the task expanded to include over 100 cyber analysts from across the Five Eyes community. He also created the Incident Analyst Capstone exercise for Air Force's developing cyber warfare initial employment training program. Corporal ONeill's dedication has resulted in a world-class cyber training program for the Australian Defence Force. Corporal Tobias ONeill awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. To be presented with the insignia of her award of the Public Service Medal, Ms. Jennifer Carlson, for outstanding public service in supporting the Cabinet. Ms. Carlson has provided ongoing and outstanding service and administrative support to the Cabinet of the Australian Government. She's been instrumental in supporting government decision-making in her role as a coordinator of Cabinet meetings. She's had the responsibility for the smooth operation of over 500 Cabinet meetings, demonstrating a high level of skill and professionalism, and she exemplifies discretion and judgment, often working with complicated logistical and security issues. Ms. Carlson's excellent knowledge and understanding of the Cabinet business process has been key to delivering a core function of the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet. Ms. Jennifer Carlson awarded the Public Service Medal.
Very hard yards in this process. Thank you very much for your dedication and the quality of the service you produce.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Emergency Services Medal, Mr. Glenn Sullivan, for distinguished service to Marine Rescue New South Wales. Mr. Sullivan has served Marine Rescue New South Wales for more than a decade in roles as both a volunteer and as a career officer. He brings diverse experience to all his activities, whether operating as a volunteer member of Marine Rescue Batemans Bay or supporting volunteer units, or as manager of Monaro Regional Operations. He holds senior marine rescue vessel and search and rescue operational qualifications and has led volunteer teams in numerous operations, including as the on-scene coordinator for a major search for a plane that crashed in the ocean off the coast of Bruley in 2014. Mr. Sullivan's commitment to community safety and to Marine Rescue New South Wales has been of the highest order. Mr. Glenn Sullivan awarded the Emergency Services Medal.
Congratulations. Thank you for bringing it up at such a time. Giving the awards. Thank you. Thousands of people go down there. I know them in good hands, so thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes the presentations this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've recognised each of the recipients individually. I think it's appropriate now to recognise them as a group. Please join me. Now to your homework. Particularly in the General Division, you'll have noticed the wide range of activities, contributions that people have made to our country, to their community, to their fellow citizens. Your homework is to go back to your community. You know people who are doing similar or exactly the same types of job in your hometown, in your home area, in your suburbs. And we need you to nominate them. There's a slight distortion as we have smaller groups in what you see coming through on each occasion. But one thing you will have noticed is that we have fewer women than we should have. Overall, about 40% of recipients each year are women. That's not good enough. We need to increase that. Similarly, in our multicultural and Indigenous representation, we need to lift that as well. So we will drive it from Canberra. We will run the system and the processes from Canberra, but we need you to nominate. So those sitting with us physically and those watching online, that's your homework. I want to mark your homework in about a year or two's time by acknowledging recipients as they come through that door. Please do that for us. Linda and I now look forward to meeting you all, enjoying this occasion and celebrating the achievements of these fine Australians we've acknowledged today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to assist you with the homework that the Governor-General has issued, I do encourage you to look at the Governor-General's website, where there's plenty of information available on how to nominate someone that you think is worthy of recognition under the Order of Australia. As the Governor-General said, we look forward to welcoming that person back to a ceremony such as this in 1 to 2 years' time. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand for the departure of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and the recipients as they proceed to the state entrance for a formal photograph. I'd ask that you just remain briefly in this room until such time as Their Excellencies and recipients have departed. Their Excellencies and recipients then look forward to joining you, the guests, out in the Lakeside Terrace for drinks where refreshments will be served. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and the recipients.